Hi, I'm Louise Tribe with the Charlotte New Home Link. We are here today at Superior School of Real Estate to learn more about the Charlotte area new home construction. My special speaker is Chuck Graham of Newton Home Consultants.
Now, what I've done here is to divide the Charlotte new single-family detached market into quintiles. And so imagine for a moment you had the list of all the new single-family detached homes in the market, stacked from the cheapest one to the most expensive one, okay? And just for math perspectives, let's imagine there were 1,000 houses. So we've divided it into quintiles. So at what point did the 200th house sell at? What price did it sell at? The 400th, the 600, and the 800. So it's kind of a look at how many houses sell in each price point, okay? So if you look up here at the top, you will see these are the quintiles, 1 through 5. Each has exactly the same number of closings. You know, we were about 7,500 closings in 2013, so each quintile would have about 15 houses in it. And you'll see, you know, I'm a Republican, so I usually work on the right-hand screen, but I will try to work on the left-hand screen now for a moment, just in case we have some other people in the room, okay? So you'll see here that the dividing line between the first and the second quintile is $170,000. So 20% of the new home market closes below $170,000, okay? Then you'll see that quintile 2 is 170 to 224, so 20% of the market closes there, 20% 224 to 272, 272 to 3, and over 351. So one thing you might think about is, where do I focus my business on a price point, and how many price points do I cover? There's the same issue you face is, can I be good covering the whole marketplace? Probably not. So am I going to pick a piece of the market to focus on and become very knowledgeable on, to become the expert on that price point? It's kind of like fish where the fishermen are, fish where the fishermen aren't. You know, that's kind of a strategic issue. I'm just trying to lay out to you the distribution in the marketplace. I would also suggest, if we had the existing home market by quintiles, the first quintile in the existing home market stops at about 140, and a huge number of the existing home market falls below that price point. So the existing home market is much more driven at a lower price point than the new home market, which you would also understand. So you have to kind of think about your mix of price points and how much of it existing and how much of it is new. Now, for a builder to show on this exhibit, they have to be one of the top 5 builders within one of the quintiles. Does that make sense? And the builders are stacked by their median sales price. I use median sales price as kind of proxy for where the market most appreciates that builder. Median sales price means half their houses closed below that price and half closed above that price. So over time, the market kind of tells the builder, that's who you are. You might try to go lower, but your share will drop. You might try to go higher, but your share will drop. If builders would run an exhibit with all of their houses, their neighborhoods stacked from the lowest average sales price to the highest average sales price, and some measure of the financial results, they would find confirmation that their highest financial results happen at about their median sales price, because that's where the market appreciates what they do. It doesn't mean they're not going to go a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but when you move away from your median sales price, your house isn't perfect for how buyers feel about you, okay? So if you're reading this exhibit correctly, in quintile 5, The 5 builders that are in the top 5 include Pulte, Standard Pacific, Bonterra, Mr. Weekly, congratulations, and JW, which is the new name for John Wieland Homes, okay? And you'll see I've drawn a little box here around Pulte, which had almost 12% of all the homes that closed over $351,000. And what I would also tell you that Pulte closed more than 250 homes at Carolina Lakes last year. So when I deal with builders in Charlotte, some say, I don't give a shit about that. Please take that out of your analysis, because I can't spend that much money to get 250 closings. But I think it's necessary for you to kind of, ooh, isn't that interesting? Kind of feeds back to what we talked about with Shays condos and Epcon stuff about the active adult market and its generic power. And I mean, even Toll now at Palisades has an active adult position. John Wieland recently got turned down in Marvin for a single-family detached position. And Marvin said, if you'll come in with active adult, we might approve it because they don't have kids and we don't have to worry about our schools. So, I mean, active adult's becoming a more and more powerful thought with regards to their product lines, et cetera. And I would imagine you're seeing more and more people come to you who are going in that direction. My personal feeling is that it should not be age restricted, it should be age targeted, okay? I think, and I would have to admit, I'm possibly one of those people. I'm getting close to those age levels that I think most boomers are not particularly interested in living in an aged ghetto. And they don't want a lot of kids, but you know, maybe 2 or 3 floating around would be just fine, you know, just so I feel I'm in the real world, but an interesting strategy for them. Back to quintile 5, you see Bonterra is second, and they've been doing some really fine work. Their share has been increasing, an interesting one to follow. And then we've got 3 at about the same. Standard Pacific has recently moved quite strongly to upper price points. They actually control the Palisades at the moment. Weddington Trace, a new position of theirs, and picked up some lots from Crescent, both around Lake Norman and along Lake Wylie. So they're moving quite strongly into the upper price point. So let's imagine you had a client who was qualified and was going to look for a house over $350,000. And will tell me about the new home market over $350,000. Well, you pull out this little exhibit and say, well, I'm not suggesting you would want to necessarily buy one from this builder, but these are the 5 leading builders. I believe we need to start your look here so you know what's selling. You know, what do you get? What don't you get? How many square feet do you get? What's the price per square foot? And I think that would be quite impressive of your client. I took you here not because I have a prejudice about that builder or I have a great relationship with that builder. I took you here because this is the strongest builder, or it's the second strongest builder, or I don't think you'll have to visit all 5, but I think it shows your knowledge of the marketplaces. Let's start and kind of understand what's happening here, and then, you know, maybe you have a builder or neighborhood you'd like to go see, but we'll be able to understand more what that offering is because we've looked at the most powerful things. And certainly got to go see Mr. Weekly because Mr. Weekly is up there in that position, okay? Now, if we move down here into quintile 4, we pick up Bonterra, we pick up Pulte, we pick up Lennar as the leader in quintile 4. Lennar has had an incredible surge in market share. They were one of the smartest national builders who sold land and lots at the peak of the market only to come back in and buy another piece right across the street for half the price. Very shrewd land strategy for Lennar, and it certainly helped them here in Charlotte. And then we also have down here Ryan and MI Homes. So again, if you have a customer in the 272 to 351, where I want to take you here not because it might be what you want, but if I take you here, you can kind of understand the new home market at that price point. These are the builders. This is why we're going here. I don't get twice the commission by selling you a house here, but this is where you ought to look. It's a good place to start. As we move down here into quintile 3, again, we have Lennar as the leader. Interesting, there are only 2 builders that dominate 2 quintiles, Lennar dominating quintile 3 and 4, and True dominating quintiles 1 and 2. So I believe it's a very powerful exhibit for you to prove to your client that you know the new home marketplace. Whether they're going to buy there or not, we don't know where they're going to buy yet. But I think most want to understand both sides of the equation. And my prejudice is for you to control your client, you need to know both sides of the equation, okay? Another thing, let's look at market shares. George pointed out that the top 10 builders basically controlled more than 60% of the marketplace. Now, on this list, there will be builders who are not in the top 10, but they are one of the top 5 by price point. And you'll look here, this list is also more than 60%. Look at 65, 53, 56, 41, 37. So as the price increases, your ability to control the marketplace drops, which is what you might expect. I mean, the top quintile is 351,000 to infinity. And you can't build a neighborhood that goes 350,000 to infinity. You know, that just doesn't play. In fact, what I would suggest to you is when I deal with clients in the 5th quintile of the market, I divide the 5th quintile into 5 pieces. So the 5th quintile is 20% of the market. The 5th quintile of the 5th quintile is 4% of the market, and that starts at $550,000. So between 350 and 550, you know, is 16% of the marketplace. And what's happened to all the private custom builders, they've been pushed further and further and further upstream because all the publics are running upstream because they can't sell new home markets. I mean, only True has continued to defend quintile 1 and 2, and we all wonder how much longer they can find lots cheap enough to do what they're doing. So far, they've managed, but an interesting kind of challenge. So again, new customer in the car, what can you tell me about the new home market? Pull this out, you know, converse with them. What have you heard about this one? What price range are you in? What one should we go visit? This is a hit list. Don't have to buy here, a hit list. You know, I'm knowledgeable. Let's go visit the new with me. I don't want you snooping around out there without me, okay? The next exhibit is a little bit deeper. And now I am showing you the lead new home neighborhood by quintile, okay? So if you're reading this exhibit correctly, up here, and again it starts with quintile 5, here we have the 5 leading neighborhoods by market share within quintile 5 that have a median sales price within quintile 5. And look down here, Carolina Lakes, Pulte, the 4th largest builder in quintile 4, in the Lancaster portion of the South Growth Corridor, which leads quintile 4. 3% of all the closings in Charlotte happened in that single neighborhood last year. So 3% of 7,500 is around 250 houses. We have never seen a neighborhood close 250 houses in a single year in Charlotte. Now, clearly part of that is their investment. They may not even be happy with 250 based on their investment there. But regardless of the turn side of that equation, a remarkable position.